The female hero is an everyday event we don't even notice. The single mom. The mom who joined in a bond with someone, dedicated their lives to creating a family, and for whatever reason, that someone is gone. And they have to become mom and dad. They have to be the provider. They have to be the nurturer. They have to be the creator. They have to be the stimulus. They have to make that life go on and make a family. Or like my sister, Reva May, a single grandmother who takes it upon herself to raise an at-risk grandchild by themselves. And now, older than I am, she has to drive a kid to taekwondo, drive a kid to dance practice, and drive a kid wherever the kid has to go, and he has to help that kid with homework. There's cases like Grace, a family called her Gracie. She was 27 years old and absolutely delighted with the news that she was going to be a mom. It's something she'd wanted all her life. When the bad news came, she didn't hesitate. She refused to take the chemotherapy that might have saved her life to protect her child from danger, from any chance it would hurt that unborn child. And later on, refused to take morphine for the pain, fearful that it would impact her child, and she didn't want that child to come into life, and the first thing they had to do was go cold turkey off of an opium. And 11 days after she gave birth to a perfect 7-pound, 10-ounce baby boy in the bosom of her family's love, Gracie slipped away. Different kinds of female heroes are all around us all the time. Not to say for a moment that there aren't some barn burners too. Years ago, I was involved with this lady from England. And I took her back to England because evidently English mothers need to hate me too. As you get older, you'll understand. But while I was back there, I learned about the story of Boudica, which is a fairly popular folk tale in Norfolk, in the eastern side of the English island. And in 43 AD, the Romans conquered most of Britain. And they didn't have to defeat all of the tribes. Some of the tribes they just made alliances with, for convenience to both sides. One of them was King Prasutagus, of the Iceni people. And they made an alliance with him. They didn't have to fight. They offered him bank loans so that he could borrow great deals of Roman money and live like the Roman royalty lived. And he said, okay, but upon my death, my kingdom shall be split between the Roman Empire and my wife, Boudica, Queen Boudica, and my 2 daughters. And he lived a rich, luxurious life until he died. Then Queen Boudica went to the Roman proconsul with her document, or will, from King Prasutagus, and said, I am here to claim the birthright for my daughters. The ancient Romans didn't play that way. They beat her, and they raped both of her daughters and threw all of them out in the street. When she went back to her tribe, the Iceni were not happy. And she rounded them all up, and she went to war. She went to war for revenge. Now, the Roman historian of the time, Tacitus, said she raised 230,000 men between her tribe, the Iceni, and the Trabanantes. That's probably exaggerated. But she raised tens and tens and tens of thousands of very angry tribespeople. Tacitus said she gave a speech where she stepped forward and she spoke of God is on your side, justice and right lie before us. We have to take it, all the things that you would expect a leader to say in a moment like that. And then she said something that lingered down through history, filtered on through, even to our country. She said, live free or die. If the men choose slavery, that's their choice. I won't. And she got on her war chariot, and she said the 2 words that all great leaders say, follow me. Because great leaders lead from the front. I was raised in the Air Force. I was an Air Force brat. One of my heroes that I learned young was about Jimmy Doolittle. Right after Pearl Harbor, America was losing everywhere. We were losing all over the world. And as the months went by, all that came in was bad news. America desperately needed some way to hit back. And like Kirk Gibson, Jimmy Doolittle stepped forward and said, "Give me the ball." No one had ever taken off a twin-engine B-25 medium bomber from an aircraft carrier. Jimmy Doolittle said, "I can do it." He put 16 birds on the USS Hornet, and they headed off for Japan. And they're 600 or 800 miles off the coast. Jimmy Doolittle got in the very first airplane, fired it up, and said, "Follow me." And he took off. And once the other crews saw that he could, they could too. All 16 birds launched. They flew the way to fight the enemy and into the history of America. Boudica stood in her chariot and said, "Follow me." And that horde of Iceni, with their skins rubbed with blue pigment wrapped in animal furs, with steel in their hands and in their hearts, rose like a blue tsunami, and they went looking for Romans. The first they came across was a colonia. Colonia is where Roman military people could retire, sort of like Phoenix for us. And it's a place called Colchester in England now. And the Romans knew that there was an uprising coming. They didn't take it very seriously. They sent off for some troops, and they got 200 auxiliary troops. Said, "That'll do it." Boudica hit them like a blue tsunami and killed everyone. Then they started on. Well, by this time, Suetonius, who was the Roman proconsul, had heard about this. He sent the 9th Legion, because in ancient times there were very few problems that a Roman legion couldn't clean up. He sent the 9th Legion to stop them in a place that is now called St. Albans. And the Iceni and Queen Boudica killed them all. Then they set their sights on Londinium. London. It's only 20 years old at this time. The inhabitants of London went to Suetonius and they begged, "Please, please defend the city. We have warehouses, we have stores, we have belongings. Defend the city." But Suetonius was a military man, and he knew that you could only defend defensible ground. And he knew if he tried to defend London, he would lose everything. So he told them, "If you want to live, come with me." And he and his army left. And that blue tsunami of Iceni warriors wiped out London. Tacitus said they killed between 70 and 80,000 people. They killed everybody they could find. From 61 to 63 AD, Boudica was the undisputed leader in that part of England. Finally, and Nero was very close to pulling Rome out of England and the British Isles because of it. But finally, Suetonius was able to put together the 20th Legion and the 14th Legion. And somewhere on the highway called the Watskill Street, I believe, somewhere in the West Midlands, they chose defensible ground where only 10,000 people could line up against their 10,000 Romans. And little by little, the Roman killing machine took place, and Boudica was defeated. Now, Tacitus said that she fell on the battlefield. But 20 years later, another Roman historian, Cassius Dio, said that no, she died of an illness. Well, the word of mouth in eastern England, as told to me, was that she had been poisoned because she could not be defeated on the battlefield. She was so hardcore, she had her right breast removed so it wouldn't interfere with her bowstring. We're talking about serious war. In World War II, they used Boudica as a taunt against the endangering Germans. The people of Norfolk would say, "Boudica, take us if you can. Boudica, come and get us." And overhead, the Royal Air Force, with the howling engines of their Spitfires and Hurricanes, threw themselves relentlessly against the German bomber stream again and again and again until those bombers came no more. Boudica, live free or die. Royal Air Force, with their uniforms of powder blue, same color as the sky and the Iceni. There's a statue of Boudicca at the Westminster Bridge in London, near the Houses of Parliament, with a fragment of a poem written in 1785 by William Cowper that says, "Region Caesar never knew, thy posterity shall sway." And when you consider, while Caesar probably would have loved the Rose Bowl, he never knew about it, and we're talking about her today.